thing about Tammy that's not complicated.
Any questions for me?
No, but I think we need to.
The darkest 2025 secret of Amy Slaton is one that, if the whispers and insider accounts are to be believed, could change the way fans of TLC's hit show 1000 B Sisters see her forever. Because behind the bubbly on-camera personality, the motherly Instagram posts, and the carefully crafted narrative of a small-town Kentucky mom making good on her dreams of family and stability, there exists, according to multiple alleged insiders, a troubling private reality in which Amy's two young sons, Gage and Glenn, are no longer living full-time under her care, and may in fact be spending most of their time with relatives or other guardians, while TLC quietly reshapes the story to keep the brand intact. A situation so layered in secrecy that even longtime crew members are reportedly divided between protecting Amy's image and exposing what they say they've witnessed with their own eyes. And to understand why this revelation is so explosive, you have to look back at the journey that made Amy and her sister Tammy household names in the first place. Because few reality shows have managed to package the raw chaos of family dysfunction, weight struggles, and small-town drama into such an addictive cocktail as 1000 B Sisters. A series that over the years has shown everything from emergency hospitalizations to heartwarming weight loss triumphs, often in the same episode. And Amy, once portrayed as the more responsible sibling, the one who, after her gastric surgery, was able to start a family, had been held up by fans as proof that the hard road could lead to happiness, especially when she welcomed her first son Gage and later baby Glenn. Moments that TLC promoted heavily as milestones in the sisters' journey, but if the rumors now swirling in 2025 are true, those picture-perfect images hid mounting pressures, marital breakdown, and parenting struggles that became so severe that children were quietly spending more nights away from their mother than with her. Something that allegedly began in the wake of her split from husband Michael in 2023, when, according to court leaks and whispers from people close to the family, the separation devolved into disputes over custody. With Michael allegedly questioning Amy's emotional stability, the safety of her living environment, and her ability to manage two young children while still filming a demanding reality show schedule. And while no official custody arrangement has been made public, several insiders insist that informal agreements were reached in which the boys would stay with other relatives for extended periods, not just for babysitting convenience, but because Amy was, as one unnamed friend put it, completely overwhelmed. And breaking down behind the scenes, a statement echoed by a supposed production crew source who claimed they'd seen Amy during filming in early 2025, appearing checked out during key moments with her kids, with one incident described in which Gage cried for hours during a scene and Glenn had to be handed off to Sister Amanda because Amy, visibly shaken and exhausted, simply could not cope in that moment. And while every parent has difficult days, what unsettled some crew was the consistency of these patterns, with another insider alleging that there were days we literally had to reshoot family gatherings without the boys because they weren't around or because something had happened off camera that made it impossible to film them, which ties into the fan observations that starting in late 2024, Gage and Glenn appeared far less in promotional materials, a shift that TLC initially brushed off as an effort to protect the children's privacy, but which skeptics now believe was part of a broader strategy to avoid showing the reality of Amy's parenting struggles, a theory bolstered by claims that whole episodes were scrapped because they contained footage of Amy struggling to manage basic childcare tasks, moments where family members stepped in unplanned, and even sequences in which the children were shown in states that executives allegedly felt would draw too much criticism from viewers. And in this alleged hidden footage, according to those who say they've seen it, Amy can be seen snapping at producers, leaving the room while the boys cried, or zoning out entirely while relatives tried to engage the children. Scenes so raw that, according to one crew member, we were told point blank this will never make air. Not because it's not part of her life, but because it's too damaging to the character they built for her. And that character, the relatable young mom doing her best against the odds, is central to the show's emotional appeal, meaning that revealing a reality in which the kids are, for all practical purposes, being raised largely by others could shatter that image and destabilize the very foundation of the series, which has already seen its fair share of public backlash over how much of Tammy's health crises were manipulated for dramatic effect. And if these Amy allegations gain traction, TLC could be facing a full-blown credibility crisis, especially given that fans on social media are already piecing together clues, from the reduced kid cameos to Amy's less frequent posting of family content on Instagram and TikTok, to sightings of Glenn being carried by Amanda or other relatives in public while Amy is elsewhere. And adding fuel to the fire are reports that Michael, though largely silent in public, has been quietly building a case for more permanent custody, with alleged documentation citing unsafe living conditions, inconsistent routines, and moments of neglect, all of which Amy's supporters insist are exaggerated or taken out of context, but which her critics see as evidence of deeper problems. And what's more, multiple alleged crew accounts suggest that in moments of high stress, such as during the Christmas 2024 shoot, Glenn was effectively with Amanda all day, while Amy filmed separate scenes, with one production assistant recalling, "If you didn't know better, you'd think Amanda was his mom that day." And while some frame this as simply the reality of a tight-knit family pitching in, others say it's emblematic of a larger shift in which Amy is less and less the primary caregiver, a shift that TLC, fearing backlash, is working hard to disguise, going so far as to re-Reddit events and restage moments to give the impression of a cohesive family unit, even when the truth is more fractured. And as these allegations swirl, the question becomes not only whether Gage and Glenn are indeed living apart from Amy most of the time, but why neither she nor TLC has addressed it openly, with some suggesting that contractual obligations and image management are keeping her silent, while others believe Amy herself may be in denial about how far from her original dream of motherhood her current reality has drifted. And in the absence of clear answers, speculation only grows, with every unposted photo, every conspicuous absence in a storyline, and every vague caption about family time being scrutinized by fans who once rooted wholeheartedly for Amy but now wonder if they ever truly knew her. And what happens if the rumored unseen footage ever leaks? The kind insiders say shows not just a mom having a bad day, but a sustained pattern of detachment, overwhelm, and reliance on others to meet her children's needs could mark the moment when the carefully maintained facade finally cracks. And in that moment, the network's gamble on shielding Amy might backfire spectacularly, forcing not only a reckoning for her public image, but also potentially impacting custody matters, future seasons, and the overall trust between TLC and EPs and its viewers. Because while reality TV has always walked a line between truth and performance, there is a difference between editing for entertainment and allegedly erasing entire truths. And if this situation is as serious as some allege, the real story of Amy Slaton in 2025 may be far less about weight loss, family bonding, or quirky sisterly banter, and far more about the unseen toll of fame, personal breakdown, and the lengths to which a network will go to protect its stars or itself.
No more. She's gone too far this time, and I'm done. Having Tammy staying at rehab.
The darkest 2025 secret of Amy Slaton is one that, if the whispers, leaked testimonies, and alleged insider accounts are to be believed, could permanently alter the way millions of loyal fans view one of TLC's most bankable stars. Because behind the public image of a bubbly small-town mother, the filtered Instagram smiles, and the carefully scripted family moments that appear on 1000 Del B Sisters, there is, according to multiple sources who claim to have been close to the production, a very different reality in which Amy's two young sons, Gage and Glenn, are no longer living full-time under her care and may in fact be spending the majority of their days and nights in the homes of relatives or with other caretakers while the network works furiously behind the scenes to patch, disguise, and redirect the narrative so the show's carefully constructed image doesn't collapse. A situation so sensitive that crew members LLEGEDLY have been told in private meetings to avoid bringing up the kids unless absolutely necessary, and to never let cameras catch anything that can't be explained. With one supposed insider bluntly describing the off-camera picture as a single mother on paper, but not in practice, a reality that stands in stark contrast to the early years of the show, when Amy's journey from YouTube personality to reality star was painted as a success story. The arc of a woman who overcame food addiction, underwent gastric surgery, lost a significant amount of weight, and fulfilled her long-held dream of becoming a mother. A dream that seemed solidified when she cradled newborn Gage on camera with tears streaming down her face. A moment TLC replayed endlessly in promos as the emotional payoff to years of struggle, and which was later followed by the birth of baby Glenn, cementing Amy's role in the public mind as the more grounded, responsible sister compared to Tammy, whose frequent hospitalizations and volatile behavior once dominated headlines. Yet if the allegations now circulating in 2025 are even partially accurate, those early images hid a mounting crisis triggered by the pressures of fame, the unrelenting filming schedule, the collapse of her marriage to Michael in 2023, and what some claim was a gradual but undeniable withdrawal from the day-to-day demands of parenting, with one crew member allegedly confiding that if viewers knew how much time those boys actually spend with other people, they'd be shocked. A sentiment echoed by another who claims TLC has been quietly reducing the children's presence on the show since late 2024, spinning the absence as privacy protection when, in reality, it was an editorial decision to avoid awkward questions. And this editing strategy reportedly went hand in hand with scrapping entire sequences that showed Amy overwhelmed, distracted, or simply absent when her children needed her. Footage that, according to one former assistant camera operator, included scenes of Gage crying for hours while Amy remained in another room and Glenn being handed off to Amanda for almost an entire shoot day during the 2024 Christmas special, with the source adding, "If you didn't know better, you'd have thought Amanda was his mom that day." And while some defend these moments as examples of a close family stepping in to help, others insist they reveal a deeper truth, that Amy has for reasons ranging from exhaustion to shifting priorities, ceded much of her active parenting role, a claim given further weight by rumors of sealed court records from her ongoing custody disputes with Michael, who, according to alleged leaks, has raised concerns in legal filings about unstable home conditions, over-reliance on extended family for basic childcare, and even instances he characterized as neglect, though because the records are sealed, the specifics remain speculative, which only fuels the gossip, especially online, where fan-run Reddit threads and TikTok accounts have begun analyzing every episode for clues, pointing out how Glenn often appears more comfortable with Amanda, how Gage is missing from multiple family events that in earlier seasons he would have been central to, and even resurfacing purportedly deleted Facebook posts that appear to show the boys in the care of other relatives while Amy is either filming, traveling, or posting unrelated content on social media, with one widely shared comment reading, "I love Amy, but those kids always seem to be with someone else. Where is she?" And what makes this particularly combustible is the parallel transformation of Tammy in 2025. After years of being branded the unstable sister, has been praised for her weight loss transformation, improved health, and calmer demeanor, leading to the uncomfortable irony that Tammy now appears, both to family insiders and to fans, as the more stable and reliable presence compared to Amy. A reversal that insiders claim has created friction behind the scenes, with one alleged source saying that even Tammy has begun quietly questioning whether Amy is doing her best for Gage and Glenn, And these doubts reportedly culminated in a tense, private family intervention in late 2024, during which Amy was confronted about her parenting. Told bluntly that she needed to let the boys spend more time with other family members for their own stability. And according to one source present, the exchange was raw, loud, and emotional. There was shouting, there were tears, and there was a moment where Amy just sat in silence. And you could tell it hit her. And while TLC is said to have recorded parts of this confrontation, it was, predictably, left on the cutting room floor. A decision that has only deepened suspicions that the network is actively concealing the severity of Amy's situation. A claim reinforced by whistleblower-style allegations from former production assistants who say they were explicitly instructed to delete or reshoot scenes that cast Amy in a negative light, with one reportedly stating, frame by frame, the reality is being erased. And as these whispers have turned into a steady roar across fan spaces, hashtags like #SaveGage and #AmyExposed have begun trending, with users splicing together side-by-side videos of Amy's early, teary-eyed new mom moments against her recent, kid-free scenes to highlight what they see as a devastating decline, while others argue passionately in her defense, suggesting the boys' reduced presence is simply the result of privacy concerns in an era of heightened awareness about child exploitation in reality TV. Yet even these defenders often concede that Amy's silence on the matter and TLC's refusal to issue a clarifying statement is making things worse. Because every day without a rebuttal is another day for the most damaging theories to spread, including the most chilling possibility of all, that if Michael, bolstered by family, testimony, and legal counsel, pushes for expanded custody, Amy could find herself relegated to weekend visits or supervised contact, a devastating outcome for someone whose storyline and sense of self have been so publicly intertwined with her identity as a mother. And the thought of such a reversal is already being treated in fan spaces as a looming reality, with threads speculating about how the show could even continue if one of its central figures is publicly revealed to be a part-time parent, while insiders warn that advertisers, already wary of scandal, could pull support if the rumors harden into fact, potentially jeopardizing not just Amy's role, but the entire franchise. And in the meantime, the alleged unseen footage remains. Locked away in TLC's archives, raw clips showing Amy disengaged during key moments, leaning on Amanda or Chris to handle basic parenting duties, or, in the words of one supposed editor, looking like the kids were props in her life. Not the center of it, footage so sensitive that executives have reportedly sworn it will never see the light of day because of the brand-wide fallout it could cause. Yet the more it's hidden, the more its existence becomes a symbol of the gap between the show's polished surface and its unfiltered reality. And for longtime viewers who once felt an almost personal investment in Amy's story, this unfolding scandal feels less like a twist in a reality show and more like a betrayal. A breach of trust that extends beyond the entertainment value into the emotional contract between a public figure and her audience. A contract that, in this case, seems to be fraying with each passing week, leaving this central unanswered question hanging heavier than ever: are Gage and Glenn truly living apart from Amy for extended periods? And if so, why hasn't the truth been told? Is this a temporary arrangement born of stress and circumstance, or has something more permanent and more heartbreaking already happened behind the scenes, quietly reshaping the family at the core of one of TLC's most watched shows? And as the months pass, with rumors metastasizing, fan theories multiplying, and the network holding its silence, the once bright image of Amy Slaton, the determined young mother who fought for her health so she could have children, is dimming, replaced by a murkier, more complicated figure at the center of what could become the most startling fall from grace reality television has ever documented, if, or when, the full truth finally comes out.